Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Hyperloops Shots Fired podcast. This is an emergency broadcast. This is not our regular 2020 podcast feed. I'm here with my two OG Destiny teammates, and Carla.
And
If you
Carla.
watch it on YouTube, you know why we're laughing. Here with NJ Cuenca. Hey, Nick. He's nodding. This is an audio feed. Please talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sad. But
Okay.
Hey, what's up,
He's
guys?
making a sad face. Hey, and my hetero life mate, at least for now, honestly, sarcastic. What's up, Joe?
Got to pour one out for the homies, Midori style.
I knew you were drinking, but I didn't know you were going to be drinking straight Midori. But, for the uninformed, Joe only drinks Midori. He does not drink alcohol, but boy, does he love him some that fluorescent green drink.
The drink.
That's the drink. That's the drink that I drank when I was 18 in the club. And Jesus Christ, that shit is gross.
Fuck
it
you.
wasn't Goldschlager.
Oh
No,
god,
I didn't drink
Goldschlager's
the
terrible.
Goldschlager till later. But like when we first got to college, like 18 plus night, it was like, what are we gonna drink? I don't know. I don't drink. How about Midori sours? Like, okay, I don't know what that is, but sure.
That's great,
Sounds
man.
good.
It's great.
Yep. Cheers. I'm drinking wine. I was gonna bring out the whiskey, but since we're podcasting for like 3 hours between us and ABG, I did not want to drink 3 hours worth of whiskey on a school night.
That's fair. That's fair.
Cuenca took the day off, so get after it, baby.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's dying. Alcoholics.
I'm glad we do this on video because that's
great.
probably going to be a freeze frame.
Yeah.
Of me, my eyes bugging out. All right. Anyway, let's get down to business. So today, FFG announced that Destiny is totally canceled. It is over. Covert missions will be the last product. There will be what portions of set 10 or maybe all of set 10, which was the following base set, will be released as prize support. But that ain't good. Initial reactions to, like, you guys want to just talk like about how you felt when it happened? I had gotten a heads up about 10 minutes before that it was going live. But it didn't hit me till it went live. But how did you guys feel?
You go first, Cuenca.
I was just sad. That's not really all I have to say. Like, I wasn't surprised, but I guess part of me was surprised because I'm just kind of like an optimistic person, even though I'm really negative. It's kind of a weird mix, but I was just surprised, and then I like shed a little tear when I read little Jeremy's thing at the end. It was so sincere and sweet. And I was just like, God damn.
I will say, like, if you really think about that Luke line, like Mark Hamill fucking nailed that line. Just the way he says it is so amazing that if you can hear it in your head while you read it,
Yeah.
I don't blame you for getting emotional.
Yeah. Or you just be
It
like
was-
me,
it
who's
was-
never seen or heard it.
For sure. Well, how was your reaction, Joe?
I still don't have one. Am I allowed to say the I guess how
Say
each of
whatever
us
you
felt
want.
about it? Okay.
Yeah.
So the breakdown was roughly this when we talked about it.
You've
It was
spoken enough about work on this podcast and
Yeah.
in our Discord. That people
Exactly.
know about Joe and people calling in.
Exactly. So, for Mr. Bobby Sapphire, it was like his cat died. But he didn't expect us to hit him like that. And Cuenca related it to, a family member finding out they're terminally ill. They got a year to live. For me, on the other hand, it was really just an employee doing a no-call, no-show. It's just like,
Why do I have to deal with this now?
Why-
I will
yeah.
say I've been on fucking Discord the whole day, which sucks.
Yeah.
'Cause I had shit to do.
so for me, it's just like, all right, got to go fix everything now. What's happening? How do we cope with this? What's going to happen in the future? Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. So it's like, there's no emotion for me yet. I'm pouring out for the homies just out of the fact that we've done this for so freaking long.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
go
It'll
ahead.
probably hit me in like 3 or 4 days, and we'll find out. But
Yeah, so you already alluded to how I felt. I kind of compared it to like when our cat died, which is like my wife's cat, and I really like the cat, but like as I had kids, I cared less about the cat, which I think is probably normal. But I don't know. I guess the way people, I'm not even gonna get into the pet thing, but or like when my grandfather died, and I thought I was okay. It was my last grandparent, and like all my other grandparents had died like way long before. And I tried to go to work, and I got to work, and I was just like, blubbering mess. I couldn't even teach, so I drove home. Just like sort of, I thought I was going to be fine. But I thought we'd have another year. It's almost like to go with like the terminally ill thing. It's like, oh, I thought I had this time, but I don't. I have even less. I have like no time. Because you say a year, but it's really, I mean, it's really 3.5 months if you're just talking about until Worlds, because I guess we should mention that FFG mentioned that there will be one final World Championship, May 1st to 3rd in Roseville, Minnesota at the FFG Center. That's 3.5 months away, and the prize support 10th set will be like a kit that you can earn all of, and I'm sure people will buy them, and I'm sure people want to play them. But like, I can't see myself doing that with no OP. So I don't really give it a year. But I thought we had a year. I thought when we got the OP article, I'd be like, here's the last year. Worlds will still be in the fall. We'll have like a summer kit, be pretty basic, have some World Championship qualifiers, and then we get this. But I did think that this was gonna be the last year at least. And I think, and this leads us to the first point I want to talk about, is I think the writing's been on the wall for some time. I've been kind of like dropping that in the podcast and in my articles that, I think I couldn't find a single playtester who'd seen set 11, and I asked a lot of them, and I know who they were because I used to be a playtester. And then Jeremy wasn't at Gen Con because he was working. But if set 10 was like in production like so long ago, I remember like getting kicked out after set 9 because set 10 had started. And that was like almost 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago. So if Jeremy was working on something, it wasn't Destiny. So he had to have been working on something else. And that just made me think that there's just nothing after set 10. But I did think we'd get set 10. So how do you guys feel just about can you talk about sort of the lead up? Obviously, Destiny has been a running joke for quite a long time. Are people justified for having spoken like that? Have things been different since the covert missions delay? That's when I feel it happened. What do you think?
Clanker?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those chumps that just kind of kept positive, or tried to at least, because you know what? This was the thing. Everyone and their mother, little troll who doesn't even play Destiny, is like, "Oh, I sold out. I knew this was happening," and they probably did that like a year or two ago. Okay, so as I said this before,
legit 2 years ago.
Yeah. There's like someone out there who was like, "Oh, I knew that was gonna happen," and like everyone knows that like games, like the life cycle of any game, is eventually going to end. Like very rarely does a game stay like Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, and I can't even think of another game that
Pokemon.
like that. Oh yeah, Pokemon. But Pokemon's dead for a while too, so maybe we get something like that. But I'm just saying that a broken clock is wrong twice a day.
That's right, twice a day.
Right twice a day. That's what I said. Right twice a day.
You said wrong.
You said it wrong, but that's fine. We knew.
No.
He's hitting you hard.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Correct.
That's what I said.
That is not what you said.
No, before you said wrong. It's okay.
It's fine. We knew you.
No. Yeah.
It's recorded. You'll find out.
Rewind the tape.
I will find out.
That you're wrong.
I said Ryan. I think I said Ryan. Yeah. I got a big lip.
Hacking that
drags me down.
You might want to slow down on that cup there, buddy.
Joe, feel free to keep pounding that Midori, baby. It'll take about 3 hours to kick in.
Good. That's about how long I have to drink this, right? Like when it goes, we're gonna down the whole bottle, baby. All right. So we did see it. I feel kind of shafted because like we were supposed to have this set before Worlds 3 months ago.
3 months.
Yeah. So what happened? Like, because if we got that before Worlds and then we get a new set and then it's like boom, Worlds with this crazy fresh new four set meta, it's like, okay, not completing the block makes sense. Was that it was? They decided they were canceling and then they were like, well, let's delay the end of this block because if we start a new block, like it's weird. So I don't know. But it definitely kind of sucks. Like the biggest thing I take away is just how great this community's been. Whether it's the website stuff, the Facebook, the Reddit, I might be able to live without you. Sorry, guys. But the patrons in general, absolute love.
Well, they got the Russian downvote bots, So that's
the Russian. That's who keeps voting me down. It's definitely the Russian.
the Russian download box.
I definitely don't think that they didn't release a set because of anything other than the bottom line. I don't think it was anything other than that.
So you kind of hit on something I wanted to ask you guys, as why are they ending Destiny? Because I think a lot of people thought that the game was profitable. There were like the top selling CCG sort of like lists, and it seemed like it was. Is this a strategic maneuver on their part because they want to be making more money and have something that's like hotter? I also thought that there was this thing that they used to do with movies where they basically just release some new crap to drum up hype, and the hype ends up selling more than something that lasts long. And like our community hasn't really grown at the pace that they probably didn't want, and it's partially because of, I would say, OP is the big reason.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the OP had.
But I'd like to hear you guys.
Production had some issues. Like, I think that there's two things. I think they just had a bunch of layoffs. They're doing one of two things, in my opinion. They're either cutting costs just across the board, and I don't think Destiny was super profitable. I mean, you go to any store, it's all over the shelves. I don't think people are buying it. I think stores don't want to carry it, and I think pre-orders are like, really, really low based on. I mean, like in contrast to when the game first started and the first wave of Awakening sold out and they had to print a crap load. They almost sold out at Spirit of Rebellion, right? We've talked to our guy, and he said like Spirit of Rebellion is super hard to find. It's like there's not that much of it left anywhere. Or I think that there are some clues that it's possible that FFG will not renew the Star Wars license. They've had it for. This will be the 10th year. They got it in 2011. Before that, Wizards had it for about 10 years, like just over 10 years, about 10 and a half years. And before that, Decipher had it for 5 years. Also, FFG renewed the license back in 2015 after 5 years. So it seems like the license possibly goes on 5-year cycles for Star Wars gaming. And if that's the case, then 2021 would be a year that they would have had to renew by. And I know that they're increasing production of several lines. Armada, X-Wing, and Legion are all getting an increase in the amount of sets that are coming out, brand new sets that are coming out this year. And I remember when Decipher lost the license in 1999, they put out like 10 sets on their 3 lines. They just cranked out like episode 1 and reflection sets to get people to buy before the end of the year when the license lapsed. And then they told everyone at the beginning of the next year, like, oh yeah, we don't have the license anymore. It happened in December. And, we'd spent all year buying all these products that they were ramping up to sell. So I think it's either they're just cutting costs and they want their other games to thrive, or that we might not see FFG renew a Star Wars license. Those are my two sort of like thoughts.
Yeah. So I would say they used a defibrillator on us back during Legacies. I think we lost a bunch of people during like the SOR, EAW shift, PO, and FN, and they defibrillated us with the 2-player and Legacies. And I think from there it's just been like on the downturn. We've had some decent stuff going. Convergence was pretty solid, but it didn't pull the number of people back in that the 2-player and Legacies did. So I think after that they were just like, you know what, this isn't really going to go anywhere. Let's close up shop. It's a big pain in the butt. And they'll probably, if they still have the license, pop out something new that will pull the people back in. Because, like, from my understanding, FFG's normal, player base hops from game to game between the stuff that they make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the my theory of like have hype about a new game, and it doesn't matter. It's kind of like how sequels are never they're generally not as hype as like the first one. Well, I guess so. So for random internet things, when you create like series, generally the first series is the most read of anything. So I try to stay away from it, but I just think it's like good content when I write something about like, oh, multiple characters. Next week I'll do another character, but or like a part, like when you break up like a tournament report. If you do part 1 and part 2 will generally not be read as part 1. So the hype. Pipe.
Dies out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you guys something. Oh, actually, just not ask you guys something, but I will say I will give FFG this: that they did not release the set and then weeks later announce it, because man, would people have been pissed? Because they would have been like, it would have been like a little hoodwink.
Yeah, but
Right?
you say that, but this set was supposed to come out months ago, right? It was delayed, and like not to harp on it, but I don't think Jeremy's been working on Destiny as far back as Gen Con. Also, if they had anticipated Worlds being as huge as it was, I think there's a possibility that if the game hadn't already been canceled, they would have found a way to make it work the way sort of like they're still printing a Game of Thrones stuff, like in small amounts, but like give us some sort of supplemental product once or twice a year. That would have kept the game going just so they could have the cash grab of like FFG Con at the end of the year. They're already holding X-Wing at that giant convention. It wouldn't cost them very much at all to just hold Worlds there for Destiny. I don't know why they did it, because I feel like they would have made a ton of money off that. So I think that this game has just been canceled for so long that even trying to revive it in any way possible was even in their thought process.
DOA.
Mm-hmm.
January 14th.
But like, just think of how well
2020.
Worlds did at that Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Like, they could have done that again for almost no cost. Like, I don't know, how many employees did it take to run Destiny? Like a handful of
Not a
judges
lot.
and maybe like 2 or 3 FFG people. They could have done it. No
Yeah,
problem.
well, I mean, I think your point is valid, but I don't think that really has anything to do with my point, which is that I'm really glad that they did not decide.
No, I do.
Personally,
I think it's been dead so long that if the covert missions had come when it was supposed to, that they would have had no problem announcing it dead after we all bought our boxes. I think it was
So
just random that.
okay,
they
so you don't
did
think
I don't think they
that
did us a solid. No, I think that I think it randomly worked out that way.
no, but I'm saying that, like, why not just wait even longer for like when the set? You know what I mean? Like, I think that they could have been sneaky and just waited longer to announce
They could have drawn it out a couple weeks. Okay, that's a fair point.
Well,
they didn't do that. That's nice.
To make stuff a little weirder, like I've heard that the covert missions boxes are actually currently at the Alliance warehouses. Like,
Yeah, that's weird.
for like a week and a half.
That's
So-
really bizarre.
So did they?
I think the homeless guy outside is selling some, actually.
But
well,
what's the
the rationale?
benefit of waiting? Yeah.
One, it didn't push it into LVO early. Two, they were able to
What
give
do they
us this
care about
announcement.
that, though?
So like
don't
maybe
care about
if they
that.
had the announcement coming with the set, but then that whole thing got delayed, they like kind of waited it out. I don't know,
Okay.
like maybe not to screw us and stores over with the product for something they were canceling out. So like it could have been reasonable. I don't think they would probably do that because we just don't give them the benefit of the doubt at this point, right? But like
No.
maybe.
I think
I don't
well, the thing is that I think it just would have been a really terrible business. Like, it would have just made everyone really pissed, and you think you just lose a lot of people that potentially will buy games later, and stores especially who are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll buy this product," and then like next week they're like, "Game canceled," and you're just
See,
like,
to me, that's less of an FFG protecting stores. That's like, all right, Alliance knows that it's coming, and Alliance is like, well, we can't fuck our stores over, so we've got to let stores amend their
Orders and stuff.
amend their orders because they can send it back to FFG and said these didn't sell to the stores and
Mhm.
get the money back there. I think that it would be more of an Alliance move, but
"Yeah, it's
I
hard
don't
to."
know.
It's hard to,
I just don't think FFG's looking out for any. But I could be
right.
jaded.
Well, I'm saying it's not like necessarily like they're looking out for us. There's someone out there like has sense to know that like it would be such bad PR that maybe it would hurt their brand.
Yeah.
That's my thinking.
If Cuenca's got to go in 15 minutes, we got to move on. So,
Yeah.
positivity going forward. I think there are some things to be positive for. About. I think like the community is really hyped to go to the Last Worlds, which is May 1st to 3rd. Tickets go on sale today. If you're listening to this, it's
Tomorrow.
the 15th, January 15th.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
They'll be on sale probably soon after you hear this, considering we'll post this overnight. And then of course the Las Vegas Open is in 2 weeks, week and a half.
Mhm.
So I think there's a lot to be positive for, and people will want to play. I think people will still go to stores to play this once Covert Mission drops because they'll want to prepare for Worlds. They'll want to like play with the new cards and Covert Missions. I think people still like the game, and I think we might actually see like local communities almost galvanized by like a new set of cards with no pressure. they know, like, we know the game's ending, we know that the OP is ending, but there'll still be those kits with the following set. So people will want to prepare for that, because I think some people will really want to make sure they get that set 10 like kit, whatever it's called, Wild Horizons or something like that.
I think that,
I think
Wild Emissions or something.
I think there's also something about it being like the last worlds that people are going to be like, I want to try as hard as possible because this is the last chance. It's like, I'm Tom Brady and I'm 45 years old and this is going to be my last Super Bowl, my last season. Let's go.
It's our last chance, guys. It's our last chance to take the win.
Yep.
We got it at the other places. On a side note, there's no more Gen Con.
I know. I was just thinking about that.
We ended it as the Looper Con, and we allowed no non-Looper to get that.
The Hyperloops won Gen Con every single year it happened, which is just insane. And I will always be the North American champion of Destiny.
This question. Someone offered Bobby Sapphire $500 for the die that he's holding. For those who can't see it, he won this die as a sort of trophy.
Hey, I have it too, baby.
And you and Joe does too.
I won the first one though.
Someone offered him $500. So now, are you happier or sadder now knowing that the game will not be produced anymore?
I think I'm happier. I think there might come a time in my life. I know I definitely thought about. I did think for a split second the other day, Malak was like wanting to buy the Afromat, and I thought about selling, but I don't know. These are my trophies, and I'll never forget the 3 years I spent doing this. I think maybe if we didn't have the community, especially like our Discord community, I would maybe not care so much. Nice.
Yeah.
But no, I don't regret not taking the 500. I think it's worth holding on to, especially if the game's dying, and I don't have to like make a decision on when to walk away, because I've been struggling with that decision quite a bit. I don't have to make that decision anymore. That decision was made for me, and I think that was really helpful for me to really care about the time I spent playing the game.
Yeah, I have the swag. I just flashed my Ewok map from the Worlds, which I basically got because I thought that basically I was like, well, I like it, and I'll try to sell it, and in worst case, I'll have it, and I'll actually like playing on it because it's kind of funny. It's just, I don't know, Ewoks are kind of hilarious. They're little bears.
Care Bears.
And I have my top 32, top 16 map from Gen Con, which I tried to sell, but no one wanted it, and I'll probably just keep it now. Now that the game's over, I'm like, okay, now I should probably keep one thing, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll just collect a bunch of crap and just like have it. And now it's like, all right, there's only going to be so much crap.
Well, I think you can do, so this is what I do with my gaming table and my office behind me, is like, you have that table behind you and you have the loops mats, but you could just put your nice mats. Mine has my Worlds and my Gen Con mats. Like, I really like my Gen Con mats. The fact that I top 8 all 3 is really important to me. The World's top 4 one is obviously really important to me. So having those is really nice. I don't know. And I guess like the mat is good enough for a trophy, but I don't know. That die's cool. The die is sweet. I got the first one. Like, Taxter rolled it, and I just knew that I won then because of the bad juju. It's like got a little story behind it. I was like, wow, I just won Gen Con because he touched the trophy.
All right, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, Joe, on anything that we just talked about?
Nah,
well, we're supposed to be talking about positivity going forward, but right. I think that was like remember the good times.
Yeah. That is remember the good times. Like, I need to now go find like 9s and all those old decks and like sleeve them up with a massive amount of sleeves for no reason and like make a shrine. Yeah, I'd be like Bobo with his shrine.
I got my shrine right here. I got my Ewok deck. I got all my spotty gloss Ewoks and arena deck. Like, they're just all here. The gang's all here, guys. We'll remember it forever.
There's a story that Magic Pro Martin Juza keeps every single draft deck from Pro Tours. I think that's pretty sick. Yeah. So imagine like
since he's been in like a million.
Yeah, imagine you just have like this room dedicated to the draft decks.
Seriously.
Yeah, I might have to actually look at like getting the playmats framed now, like Luke and them, because they'll just never play on them again.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I don't know. But I have too much of that stuff, and I gotta like make room now.
Yeah, I just have the vision that someday I'll get friends and they'll come over and we'll play board games on my mats.
Definitely not in the snow.
that'll
Though.
never-
I've been to your house. It's awful.
It's not that bad. I live on a dirt road.
With
Whatever.
snow.
I live in the woods.
With snow.
I'm the Unabomber. Yeah. Other good times. I did just rebuy the Gen Con box from 2017 for $30.
Oh,
That was
baby.
pretty-
That thing's sweet. I beat that
It's
mine to hell.
insane.
Yeah,
Mine's
I
still
bought-
it's still in plastic wrap now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that. I got my Gen Con 17 coin in my hand.
Yeah, I ended up buying the C-3PO and R2-D2 spot glasses for like $50 for both, which I was like pretty
Mhm.
excited about. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's sweet.
because they look nice. I like the way they look.
Yeah, we just have so many, I don't know. My office is just littered with shit. I've got the
Yeah.
Ewok tokens from Gen Con. I've got the challenge coin from Worlds 2019. I've got a late night gaming token. I don't know.
You know what?
Just this has been my life for 3 years. It's just all here.
Yeah.
I will say one thing though, is
Yeah.
that I do not look forward to trying to figure out what to do with the collection after the game is progressively dead, right? I guess realistically, there's a player committee currently being formed and working on trying to continue with the game. So I think from that level, I still don't know what the overall plan is, but I know when I have to go through all this crap, I'm just gonna look at it and just jump it into a 5,000 count box and shove it under some freaking bed somewhere in the house.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
put it
stay
in
my
put it
attic
in an attic.
till I die.
I don't have an
Someone
attic.
will take care of it.
Well, me and a lot of people don't know this. Me and me and Bobby Sapphire played a game called Versus System, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of fun memories playing Versus, and it was
Yeah.
actually the big game that got me into playing competitive events.
For
The
sure.
first $2,000 check, I was
This is
19
real.
or
Yeah.
19 or 20. I'm like, holy shit! They just gave me
Yeah.
$2,000. You crazy?
I was crushing those PCQs at in Cambridge or wherever they were in that Knights of Columbus, just coming home with a $200 Visa card every weekend. It was
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of
printing
fun.
money.
For Naruto, I walked away with a laptop, a PSP. I think it was a
Oh, the good old days when games gave away
PS3.
PSPs.
dude.
Everyone
It
gave
was
away
$2,000 of prizes. The laptop was so sweet that I was like, oh, this is amazing. I opened that one and used it. I didn't have a laptop, and then when I won the next laptop, that literally sat in the box for 2 years, and then I gave it to my mom for Christmas because she needed a laptop.
Nice.
And I was just like, oh shit,
Here, Mom. Here's an air-gapped laptop.
air gapped laptop. Exactly.
Anything else in your notes that you guys wanted to cover?
No, I
mean,
mean, I
I-
think we didn't really talk about positivity, but I think if you just go online, I think there are a lot of people coping, but I do think people are excited for the 4 months of Destiny.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are also low key kind of excited, excited to see what the community will do.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of fear too, like who's gonna take the reins and who's gonna spearhead the sort of community building, and because Mike is sort of involved in the Star Wars CCG community,
Yeah, I
and
used to be. I haven't been for some time, but I used to be. Yeah.
yeah.
But
And a lot of people still. I don't know
I mean-
how many people play that, but they have a world.
It's a
they have
couple
world.
hundred, and Worlds consistently gets about 60 to 70. Every year, like clockwork, the two events, they have a 64-man bracket event, and Worlds gets about 60 as well. These are Worlds in Germany this year, which was kind of there's an online community for that game that's huge, and they've been coming up with new community cards for 20 years. It's 2020. We started that in 2000. So they've been coming up with the cards for that for 20 years, which is insane to me that my friends still play that game after we've been playing that game for 25 years.
My
but-
friend too. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Eric, exactly.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that Destiny's in a really weird position, or I don't know, just unique position where. So Decipher CCG Star Wars was 20 years ago, and now we're sort of coming to the same issue that they encountered. And given 20 years ago, we didn't have they didn't have Discord, they didn't
No.
have Facebook groups,
Nope.
I think that kind of organization, if we really want it, it'll happen. People will keep playing. The easiest thing I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the easiest thing people can do is just have like a committee and just kind of rebalance the characters over and over again.
Mhm.
And that's like super easy. You don't have to print cards, and I don't think there's any legalities to that at all.
No, I don't know either. As long as you're not printing shit, it shouldn't really matter. So, you're not creating images. But
Yeah.
I think even just aside like where the game goes there, I think like we're still getting covert missions. We're still getting that set 10 without dice or whatever. I think it's just important
with
for the
dice, with
community to
dice.
band together. Are you sure?
It said with dice, if I wasn't mistaken.
I thought they said without. Well, whatever. Those cards are coming, and I think it's just important for the community to band together. I know the Hyperloops.com will still be in full operation at least until May 1st, and our Patreon will still be exactly the same. We've prided ourselves as a tournament tier, like that's what we call our main tier, and we want to get people ready for Worlds, and I think it's important to leave that legacy going forward until the last World Championship. So we're definitely going to be doing that, and then like everyone else, we're going to take the 3.5 months between then and now to just sort of like see how things go and figure out what's happening with Destiny and what's going to happen with us. So if you want free content most days of the week, you can still come to the hyperloops.com and you'll get a podcast on Monday and articles Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursday. So
Yeah, I was working on an article today, and then I read the article. The article was published like,
the game ended.
Crap.
I texted my wife. I was like, when are you coming home? Because they canceled Destiny and I need to like podcast about it. And she was like, I'll be home at 7:30. And then she was just like shocked. This is something that I've spent more time doing than most things in my life for the last 3 years. So
yeah, I told a couple of my friends, and they were like, "Oh, I can't believe that." And I was like, "Well, we kind of knew."
We kind of knew. But it's sort of like when like going back to like the extended member of the family getting sick. It's like you get a lot of text. I get a lot of text today, like, "Oh, sorry about Destiny. I'm really sorry." Former players, X-Wing players. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's sort of like when, it's like if a great grandparent died. Like, oh yeah, they're probably like 105 years old. It happens. But
Their time to
still
go.
sorry. Yeah, it was their time to go, and I think it's Destiny's time to go. I think it's a little early. I would have liked to ride it out for the rest of the year. Say love it.
Just to quote the article real quick, even if you can't join us for Star Wars Destiny World Championship, one final kit is coming to local retailers near you, the Echoes of Destiny kit. Launching after the World Championship, this kit supports a series of Trilogy Seal tournaments, as well as a special tournament that will provide participants with one copy of every card and die from Wild Horizons, the unreleased 10th set of dice and cards for Star Wars Destiny.
Yeah, so, I wonder how much those kits will go for on eBay, because that's where I bet you can find them.
Oh, yeah, probably. We do have a local kind of. But I don't know. We just got to let them know what's going on.
I do think the three of us should just pull together and get one. And have a Loops copy.
Sure. I'd probably say we try to make sure we go get these and have 6.
I mean, we can talk to our talk to the local stores and see.
Yeah.
Make sure someone gets them, right? Like
I guess if we can find a store that will order them for us, then yeah, we should do it. I think we can make that.
Yeah, there's at least a couple that I can think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for being part of this community for the last 3 years or however long you were. It's been really great, and we're gonna keep it going strong for 4 more months.
Yeah, this is not our last podcast. That's for
sure. We're still gonna podcast every Sunday now.
For the 2020 podcasts.
The 2020 podcast. Let's. I guess we didn't fire enough shots, but I don't know. Fuck you, FFG.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'll see you at X-Wing.
I got you.
I'll see you at X-Wing. Fuck you. Never again. Never again.
I don't blame anyone for never again, but I actually X-Wing, and now I won't be as emotionally invested. I'm already not emotionally invested in X-Wing. Yeah, I have a couple like acquaintances that play, but I don't have like the crew this is. So I do like playing Destiny. It's always just, X-Wing has been like a good other game to play. That it just happens to be when I play Destiny, so it's convenient. But yeah, I'll probably stick with it, be full-time X-Wing player.
One last thing I want to say, though, is for any of you guys that are just kind of like rage quitting after the news, I'd say don't. The biggest thing has always been the community. You guys have been great, awesome. Get those games in, even if you don't get whatever news set that comes out. Like, play it, man. Like, this community is just so amazing that I don't want to lose any single one of you guys.
And don't go burn your collection, but if you do, record it.
And
I was
tag
actually
us.
thinking about recording me like pouring like alcohol on a Snoke or something, like just something like that would kind of. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh.
Look at that. Back
That's
to back Team World Championship.
There's your
Your boy
shrine.
Bobby Sapphire. They gave us these sick mugs. If we go to Players Committee prizes, I definitely recommend the schooners. After I won each of these, we went to the restaurant and I drank beer out of each of these in celebration of my win.
Yeah, sorry guys, my prizes are nowhere near this room. They're all still in their cardboard boxes.
I got that too.
Puerto Rican national champion
And I got one of
2014.
these. Oh, you're doing that's
Oh
the magic one?
Jesus! he went deep in the tank on that one.
Can I show you my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
one? Can I show you my favorite one? This is Cuenca's regional trophy. And I skipped him
Hey,
in the
give me that.
final.
I want that.
Oh wait, no,
No,
that's
no.
sorry, that's not it. That's my Star Wars CCG regional trophy.
Can I show you? What
where's
before
your
I go, I want to show you my
Oh, yours is
favorite
over there.
real quick. This is my first thing that I ever won. This is 2004 Magic the Gathering Massachusetts State Champion.
Oh my god!
I know, right? It still gives me the feels when I look at it. I was so hyped.
That is
Sorry,
the Cuenca
this,
got
region.
this is Cuenca's regional trophy. Wrong regional trophy.
You didn't want to give me the good one.
No, that doesn't seem right. That's yours from the first store champs. That's 2017. His is 2018.
What do you mean for store champs? They didn't give these away for store champs.
Yeah, they did.
They did?
So the first ones you have on the wall behind you, that are the placard, is the Phasma ones. No, far right. Yeah.
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 Yeah, but what's this then?
That's the Phasma one, and then that's the.
This is Cuenca's regional.
Is it?
I think that's mine. Yeah.
2017 though.
I never won one.
Oh. I don't know.
All right,
then.
guys.
That
All
was
right,
2018 legacies and shit.
whatever. Who
I
cares?
don't know the dates anymore, man. I'm sorry.
Who cares?
Indeed.
It's dead. Game's
All right,
dead.
guys.
But
All right, sorry. Thanks for the little false start there, but thanks for listening. Yeah, anything else?
no, that's it.
All right. Take us
Hyperloops
out.
out,
Take five.
baby. Deuces. Pour one out for the homie.